Hey guys, Be Twice here. Today is Sunday, July 18th. We're going to be taking a look at a handful of stocks that are my favorite setups for these upcoming weeks. I have a position in some of them, but not all of them, but I will be looking to take a position in all of them here in this upcoming week if we get blessed with another dip early in the week. And that's just mainly because I do not think the top is on the S&P 500. There's way too many bears out there. There's going to be one last rally. And I'll be looking for a dip to buy on that too. I will be doing a video on the indices here in a little bit, and I'll talk about that. But with that being said, let's start with Boeing. So this was requested from me a couple weeks ago from somebody, and it took me some time to really make sense of what it's doing because it's doing a ton of series of three-wave moves. So this is not an impulsive structure, meaning we can't count it with the standard 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. At first, I thought we were seeing a lot of 1-2 nests, like a 1-2, 1-2 nest, but it was just too many nests in a row. After you get past this first one, continuing to say 1-2, 1-2, it wasn't working. So then you go back and you look and you go, okay, cool. Let's see what we're actually looking at. So we have an ABC move followed by another ABC to an A, ABC to a B, and then A, B, C to a C. So what that tells us is that we have a W X. And that we're looking for our Y. So then when you go and you actually look at the WXY correction, if you look it up, you can actually find a chart from Elliott Wave Forecast, and it kind of shows you how it's normally drawn. Um, so what we're looking at here is that we've pulled up for an A, we pulled back for a B, we've gone up for a C, which gives us a lower degree W. Then we had another A, B, C move to give us a lower degree X, and this is what we're looking for right now. So obviously we have this uptrend line that we've been respecting the entire time. So based upon this sequence that we're seeing, it's pretty obvious to kind of tell that this is where Boeing's going to catch support, somewhere right around this trend line. The closer you can get into this trend line, the better chance you have at profitability, because somewhere down here, Boeing is going to rally. And then by using extensions, because as you can see, our W here is going to be the 100% extension. And then our price target for our Y is also going to end up being 100% extension off of this X. So with that being said, you take your extension, you say, hey, we're going to have a three-wave move. It's not going to be a five-wave. You're going to see a small impulse up, so five-wave followed by three, followed by five, and that's going to take us up to this wave C, which is this lower degree Y, which is the higher degree Y price target of 343. We're going to be seeing over this next couple months. I think by mid-August we're going to be seeing Boeing hit this 280 mark, maybe late August or so, depending on the market conditions. And then we'll have a three-wave pullback, and then that's going to be another dip by spot. And then ultimately, we're going to be ramping up to this 300 range. So if you're going to play Boeing on options, then you'd want to buy yourself time if you're looking to get this move up to 280. And then even if you want to hold out and wait till you get to the move down and try to ride it up to 343, that would work as well. But I think all dip buys here on Boeing are a buy, and I'll be looking to get into this stock Monday. But like I said, the closer you can get down to this downtrend line, the better. And it'll probably be around 210 or so if it does reverse any further. With that being said, there's been a lot of dark pool activity in this level on Boeing, so it may not go much lower. Right now, we're holding that 200-day as well. So with that being said, it really may not go any lower, and that's why I'm saying all dips are a buy, especially because there's been a lot of institution activity on this name. All right, so that's Boeing. All right, so we're going to look at the hourly on Disney. So I'm going to be bouncing back and forth. Okay, so what I'm seeing is that before I had my price target for wave 3 up here in the 190 range, and then 5 was going to take us much higher. Based on the price action we saw, what I'm actually seeing is that we've already peaked for wave 3 here, and that we're in the process of pulling back for 4. But that doesn't change where 4 is going to end, right? Like before I thought 4 was going to be low down here, and then we're going to have another impulse up for 3. Ultimately, because of the conditions in the market, what I'm seeing is that 4 is going to bottom somewhere around 178 if we haven't already found bottom. So if Disney blesses us with another pullback into the 178 range, buy it, because somewhere in this range we're going to see a 5-wave impulse to the upside. That 5-wave impulse should take us to around 193. It possibly could go a little even higher depending on time frame, where it is around earnings, stuff like that. But ultimately, from there, we're going to see another pullback, and then we're going to have another dip to buy, and then ultimately we're going to be launching into the 200 range, assuming that earnings aren't atrocious. So Disney, dips are a buy. Still really like this stock. Okay, Walmart. Walmart has been one of my favorite ones that I've been watching. Really kind of what I'm seeing here is that I drew these supports and resistance lines off of volume shelf last week. So basically, we're kind of just playing, we're tagging in between there, and it looks like we're forming a pennant. To me, it looks like a bull pennant because we've come up into it from the upside, and now we're kind of just bouncing around in these trend lines. What I'm expecting is at some point we're going to break out of this to the upside if the market conditions can get better. We've been seeing a lot of strength out of Walmart these last few days where the market's been dumping and it was positive, I think, one day and then it was barely negative on Friday. So I really like that. And ultimately, I do think it's going to rally out of here. It's a very slow moving stock, but I do think once we break this 142.30 range, it's going to be clear blue skies and we're going to go up into the upper 140s pretty quickly. So I've been long Walmart, and I'm going to continue holding because I do see this happening. Now, it might happen slowly, even though we're in this pennant. We may just disregard it and go right out of it, but I don't think that's going to happen. I think we're going to see this rally very soon. All right, so a new one that I don't think I've done a video on is ATVI. So we'll look at the daily. That way we can see everything that I've counted so far. Okay, so what I'm seeing so far is that we had a five-wave move up for a one, pull back for a two, a five-wave move up for a three, and that we're in the bottoming process for a wave four. So I'm saying that we had a WXY move for a wave four and that the bottom's already in. So let's zoom in on this a little bit, if it'll let me. Okay, so I'm saying that the bottom's already in right here at this level, and that we had a five-wave move up for a one, and that we're in the process of a three-wave move down for a two. So we had a B, and we're coming down for C right now. So what I'm seeing is that we're going to probably go a little bit lower because I'm not seeing clear five waves. Now, we might not because if I dive into the 15-minute, there may be five waves here. But with that being said, we could go a little lower, but I think all dips in this area are buy. I've been in ATVI long with shares for a long time, and then I added to my position on Thursday. And then based on the strength I saw Friday, I actually added more. Early Friday when I saw strength, I added to it. So the reason behind it is like obviously we had really bad market conditions and it showed some strength being positive. So that's why I'm saying bottom could be in. But any dip on this is a buy, especially because we're going to be heading down to this 200-day moving average, which is going to be strong support. What I'm seeing is a one, a two, and we're going to be popping up for a three somewhere in the 107 range. This is going to be a really slow moving stock and it's probably going to take earnings to really send it. So I do think that if we do have any dips here, buy it. But you want to make sure you're using a stop loss below 86.4 because that would mean we're in a complex correction and we had a W, X, Y, X, and we're coming down for Z. And then Z could be somewhere down here. So make sure you're respecting the stop loss right, this 86.4 range. All right, let's take a look at Etsy if it'll let me actually go to it. Etsy, we're looking at the hourly. So let's dive into this. So Etsy's a stock I've been long with shares for a long time just because the wife loves to buy from Etsy. So I've been in since low hundreds. With that being said, what I'm seeing is originally I thought our wave four bottom was going to be somewhere in this like 185 range, and I was buying this whole dip down. Ultimately, it ended up going lower because I'm now seeing this as a zigzag where this was a five, a three, and then we're in a process of a five. Now I'm seeing a full five already coming down here. So I do think that there's a really good chance bottom is already in for our wave two down here. It could still head a little lower if the market conditions are atrocious, but I don't see it going too much lower. I really don't think it will break this downtrend line at all. So Friday it was positive a percent, and the market conditions were terrible, and that's what makes me think that this bottom for wave C is in, and that's our wave two bottom. I do think very soon we're going to be making a move back into the 200s. My wave three price target is 266. So hopefully we can get that move to the upside. It may take earnings to really send this one though. All right, so we're going to look at the daily on Autodesk. Autodesk is another one I've really liked. There was a lot of unusual options activity at one point, and that's what made me buy into it. I'm still holding. What I'm seeing is that we're in the process of a 1, 2, and we're working on a wave 3, which is going to take us into the 320 range. What I'm seeing is that we're actually pulling up for a pennant. So we're kind of like, it just looks like we're a little bit like basically flagging a little bit right here. So I went into the volume shelf, which let me add that real fast too, so I can show you guys how it's done. Well, that doesn't look good. Hold on. Okay, so when you add the volume shelf, um, these are your levels of support. So the bigger they are, obviously down here, you're going to have huge support. But right now you can see the support or the resistance. I mean, right here it's resistance because it's above us. It gets less and less and less and less and less. So if we can break above this 300 level and actually hold it, there's a good chance that that's when we're going to fly to 320. So watch this 300 level. If Autodesk can get above it, if you're not already in, it might be smart just to wait for it to break 300. But if it does break 300 and hold above it, let's say it closes at 301, 302, or at the end of a day it's somewhere hanging in that range, it might be good to make a bet at that point in time because we should move up to this 320 level very, very quickly from there. From there, we'll see a pullback, and then ultimately we're going to see our rally up to my price target of 350. It may take a couple months for this to happen because Autodesk moves very, very slow, but this was another one that was showing strength early on Friday, ultimately to head lower, but I add to my position when I saw that early strength as well. All right, so get rid of this, go back to the normal, and we're going to look at Square as my last stock for the day. So we're going to look at the hourly on Square. So what I'm seeing on Square, I'm long Square shares, and what I'm seeing on Square is that we're going to be heading higher, and my wave 5 price target is going to be, you can disregard this because this was an old count, of course. Let me redraw that real fast because I deleted something that was, all right, right there. So I just have to edit this. So we'll get rid of this 161.8. Okay. All right, so the wave 5 price target is 265. Basically, what I'm seeing is that we've gone up for a 5-wave move for 1. We pulled back for our 2. We had a 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we have a shallow 5 here, which is our wave 3. And then we had this drop off, and then we had this gap. Now we filled the gap. The question we're going to ask ourselves here is, was this the bottom of wave 4, or are we going to head a little lower? I'm thinking that this 232 is going to be the low. There's been a lot of option activity on this name all throughout last week. Millions and millions of dollars on calls. Some of them fairly big. And then we have earnings right around the corner, and I do think that they're going to blow earnings away. They get a lot of fees from Bitcoin transactions, so just be aware of that there's a really good chance that with the volatility in Bitcoin, there's been a lot of people selling, possibly a lot of people buying, and they're banking every single time that happens. It doesn't matter that they own Bitcoin and it's going down in value because they're making their money off the transaction fees. The price of Bitcoin is almost irrelevant to them. So with that being said, I think that they've been kind of beat up due to Bitcoin a little bit, and they're kind of holding pretty well compared to like Coinbase. So with that being said, I do ultimately think that it may take earnings to really send this thing to 260 plus, but it wouldn't surprise me if we hit that before earnings. I think all dips on Square are a buy. I do already think that the bottom is probably in. There is a chance it goes back down and tags that again or heads a tiny, tiny bit lower, but it's not going to go much lower than this 231 range. I'm just not seeing it, especially considering look at what happened on Friday. We had a percent gain day on this stock when the market's getting annihilated. So that tells me that there's a really good shot that this bottom is in. So all dips are a buy, and we should be seeing this move up to 265 very soon. So, all right, guys. Well, that's it for my favorite setups for these upcoming weeks. So hopefully we can get some good money and get some good moves off these, and hopefully the S&P 500 can find a bottom here, and we can trade that one as well. So, all right, guys, if you like these videos, go ahead and hit a like and subscribe.